Hey everybody, today we're going to be replacing the valve cover gasket on my 82 CB900 Custom. That's a pretty simple job, straightforward. It'll be relatively the same for most bikes. The only thing that's going to change is the shape of the valve cover gasket, the configuration of the bolts. But these instructions should help you be able to make your way through it. So the first thing that we're going to have to do is get the gas tank off. So for a carbureted style bike, you're going to have to unclip the fuel line here at the petcock. The best way to do that is to get into a long pair of pliers, and there will be a clip here that you have to disconnect and push that hose off of the petcock. Remember to shut the fuel off. I prefer to run the bike for a little bit with the fuel shut off. Warms everything up, and it helps get the fuel out of the carburetor, so it's just less fuel that's going to drip out when you disconnect everything. Now that the fuel tank's off, we have access to all the bolts for the valve cover. So we're going to have to unplug all of our spark plugs. All right, I'm going to unplug these, move them out of the way. Honda was so kind as to mark these for me, so I don't have to do that. I strongly advise marking these with some colored tape or zip tie, something. If yours isn't set up in an easy configuration like this, you don't want to get your firing order confused when you go to put it back on. Now we're going to unbolt the valve cover. I have to pull this bolt as well. This is from my RPMs. This is a lot of older bikes will have this. Okay, now that you've got all the bolts loosened, you're going to go around the valve cover, and you're going to pry gently all around the edges until it separates from the valve body. Now that you've got everything loose, you're just going to lift the valve cover and gently work it out one way or the other. Depending on your bike setup, you might have a side that goes better than the other. So now that you have the valve cover off, the next two things you're going to do is you're going to come in and you're going to clean this mating surface really well, being careful not to get any debris down into the valve body. So you're going to go through and get all the old oil. If there's residue, stuck gasket, anything, you want to make sure to clean that off really well before reinstallation. The other thing you're going to do is come to your valve cover, and we're going to do the same thing, get the old gasket ripped off of here. Mine has these nifty little camshaft cover deals that actually part of the gasket. You can kind of see how it wraps around it, so your bike may or may not have that. Okay, now that you've got your valve cover cleaned up, this will be the time where if you do have inserts like this, that you want to get those reinserted. And we're going to put the gasket back on the valve body. This one, the gasket seats into the valve cover. Some will seat on the valve body, depending on your type. This is the time to do it. Also, some will have an alignment mark. This has a mark on the valve cover and on the gasket to let you know which way the measurements will be just slightly different to either side. So you want to make sure you have that aligned properly. Sometimes that's going to happen, and you're going to have the fun of aligning this while it's halfway in there. Now that you've got the cover's situated, back on, you just got to tighten the bolts down and you'll be all set. I suggest getting your torque spec for these. Mine's 108 inch-pounds, so get a torque wrench, get your torque spec, and then when you torque these down, you're going to want to do it, go around in a star pattern, like a crisscross. Let's see, this one's put down. Alright, so you're going to want to make sure that you go across on the inner and the outer bolts, and then put everything back together and you're good to go. Thanks for watching. Any questions, comments, concerns about this job or other jobs you might want to see in the future, please comment, like, share, let me know what you want to see, and I'll try to get it up for you.